Welcome, everyone, to Zero University, where every journey starts from zero. Today's story is The Lantern on Leeds Road, a story about the Pine Barrens. Let's begin. The Pine Barrens stretch farther than most people realize. Miles of quiet woods, sandy roads that twist and disappear, old towns swallowed by time. And if you listen closely, the forest never really goes silent. Most locals will tell you the same thing. The woods are beautiful. The woods are peaceful. The woods remember. Ethan Mercer didn't believe in ghost stories. He was a freelance photographer from Atlantic County, known for documenting abandoned places, old factories, forgotten churches, and crumbling farmhouses. When a local historical society asked him to photograph an old settlement site deep in the Pine Barrens, he agreed immediately. The location was listed simply as Leeds Road, Old Settlement Area. The woman who handed him the file hesitated before he left. "Don't stay after dark," she said. Ethan smiled. "I hear that a lot." "This isn't a joke," she replied. "That area is connected to some very old stories." He thanked her, packed his gear, and drove out the next morning. The paved road turned to gravel. The gravel turned to sand. By noon, Ethan was surrounded by towering pines and thick underbrush. His GPS had stopped working miles back, but the printed map led him to a narrow trail marked by an old wooden sign, Leeds Road. The name sounded familiar, then he remembered. Leeds was the family name, tied to one of the oldest legends of the Pine Barrens, the origin story connected to the Jersey Devil. Ethan shook his head. "Good for tourism," he muttered, grabbing his camera. The forest was quiet, not peaceful quiet, watching quiet. After a short hike, Ethan found the remains of the settlement. Stone foundations, a collapsed chimney, rusty farm tools half buried in the sand. According to historical files, a small community had lived here in the 1700s. Records showed families leaving one by one until the place was abandoned entirely. No reason given. Ethan began taking photos. Every few minutes he thought he heard something moving behind him. Branches shifting, footsteps in the sand, a low rustling that stopped whenever he turned. "Probably deer," he said out loud. The woods didn't answer. Near the edge of the clearing, Ethan found something unexpected. A metal hook hanging from the tree branch, and beneath it, resting in the sand, an old lantern. It looked recent, clean, not rusted like everything else. He picked it up. The glass was warm. Ethan frowned. Someone else had to be nearby. "Hello?" he called. Nothing. Then from deeper in the woods, a faint light flickered. Another lantern. The light moved slowly between the trees, not swinging like someone walking, gliding. Ethan hesitated. Then he did what photographers often do when curiosity beats caution. He followed it. The deeper he went, the quieter the forest became. No birds, no insects. Even the wind seemed to stop. The lantern light stayed just ahead of him, always visible, always out of reach. After 10 minutes, Ethan stepped into a narrow path, an old road, barely visible under years of pine needles. Wooden fence posts leaned along the sides, broken, rotting, old. Then he noticed something strange. Footprints. Fresh ones. Barefoot. They led straight down the road in the same direction as the moving light. Ethan's stomach tightened. As he walked, the memory came back. One of the old Pine Barren stories about travelers who saw a lantern in the woods. If you followed it, the story said, you'd be led deeper and deeper until you couldn't find your way back. Some blamed spirits, others blamed something else. Something older. Something that didn't like visitors. The lantern stopped. It hung in the air about 30 yards ahead. Ethan raised his camera. Just as he pressed the shutter, a sound split the silence. A long, high scream. Not human, not animal. It echoed through the trees, distant, but powerful, like it came from everywhere at once. Ethan froze. Then the lantern went out. Darkness settled quickly under the thick canopy. Ethan turned around. The path behind him was gone. No road, no footprints, just trees, all identical. He pulled out his phone. No signal, no GPS. Then he heard it again. Footsteps, moving through the woods, circling. At first he saw nothing. Then something moved between the trees. Tall, thin, too fast to focus on. Another movement to his left, then to his right. The footsteps stopped. The forest went silent again, and above him, somewhere in the darkness, wings. Just when he panicked began to take over, a light appeared again. A lantern. Behind him, steady, still, waiting. Ethan didn't want to follow it, but he didn't want to stay where he was either, so he walked toward it. The lantern led him to a structure he hadn't seen before. A small wooden house, collapsed roof, broken windows, door hanging up open. The lantern sat on the porch. Ethan stepped closer. Inside the doorway, scratched into the wood were words. Don't follow the light. The lantern went out again. He entered the house to get out of the darkness. The air inside was cold. On the far wall hung something unexpected. Photographs. Dozens of them. People standing in the woods. Families. Hikers. Hunters. All looking directly at the camera. And behind each of them, a faint light. A lantern. On the floor beneath the photos lay something else. A camera. Modern. Digital. Ethan picked it up. The last image displayed on the screen showed him, standing in the clearing earlier that day, and behind him, a lantern. The sound returned, closer this time. The walls shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then heavy footsteps approached the house. Slow, dragging. Something large moved across the porch. The door creaked wider. Ethan remembered something else from the old stories. There were rules. If the Jersey Devil was near, don't run, don't shout, and most important, don't follow the light. The doorway filled with the shadow. Tall, thin, unnatural. Two shapes unfolded from the back like wings. A low rattling breath filled the room. Ethan slowly set the lantern down. Then he did the only thing he could think of. He turned away from the light and walked straight into the darkness behind the house. For several minutes, he walked blindly. No light, no sound, no turning back. Then suddenly, moonlight broke through the trees, and beneath his feet, sand. A road. The same one he'd parked on. Ethan reached his cart just as the sun began to rise. His equipment was still there. His photos were still saved. All except one. The image of the lantern was gone. When he reviewed the rest later that day, he noticed something strange. In several photos of the clearing, a small light glowed in the background. Watching. Waiting. Later research revealed something hadn't known. Leeds' family land once covered that exact area, and early settlers wrote about strange lights in the woods as far back as the 1700s. They called them the Devil's Lantern. The story all ended the same way. Those who followed the light often didn't come back. I hope you enjoyed the story, everyone. If you liked it, inspired by it, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you again for watching Zero University, where every journey starts from zero. Bye.